Manchester United versus Sheffield United.
And Paul, you're going to cover.
Wolves and Bournemouth.
And Jack, you're going to cover.
Newcastle and Aston Villa.
So we're all covering a game each. We're all going to be watching the game while obviously talking about different things. Now, I think probably the most obvious thing to talk about is the actual fact football's been back, and who you kind of been impressed with out of the games that you've watched. And I know they all kind of look like pre-season friendlies at the moment, but is there anyone that's really impressed you? For me, Manchester City have impressed me.
Yeah, Manchester City obviously standing out. Manchester United impressed me Friday night away to Tottenham. I thought they played quite well. And Chelsea, I think, away to Aston Villa, because that was a little bit of a banana skin, given that Aston Villa had the benefit of playing a game already. But I thought Chelsea did really well in that game. I thought Kante, Willian, and Mason Mount really stood out for me in that game. Obviously, I'm hoping that Liverpool, I've added them to that list this evening when they take on Crystal Palace. They were probably one of the more disappointing teams for that draw against Everton, as you know well about on Sunday, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Everton done well in terms of Ancelotti set up there with a game plan or whatever. I've been a little bit disappointed by Liverpool. I think they thought well. In some ways, I've been happy at being an Everton fan, but I thought I'd see more from them. But I think as Jamie Carragher said, when you kind of drop off either Salah or Mane, the team doesn't really have that much of a bounce as they normally do, you know. But Jack and Paul, I suppose Paul first, who have you been most impressed with?
Team in particular for me was Southampton on Friday, just before the United game against Norwich, 1-3-0. Michael Obafemi was obviously playing for Southampton as well. He played brilliant, set up a goal as well. Danny Ings has looked very sharp this season. And ever since Southampton got beaten 9-0 by Leicester in that game, they've been brilliant. And they're just continuing the form now as well. And it's good to see a few Irish lads getting involved, including Will Smallbone and Shane Long as well.
Yeah, I think Cheers have to drop it off there. But anyway, Jack, who have you been impressed with?
I suppose, to be fair, I watched Brighton and Leicester last night, and given the class of the Leicester team and their good run, I thought Brighton did very well. One of the analysts said there at halftime, if you're told one of them was competing for Europe and the other was competing to stay in the league, you mightn't give the right answer, because Brighton put on a serious show. Obviously, our own Irishman Aaron Connolly was causing trouble for them early on, and within quarter of an hour, he used his pace. He won a penalty. Unfortunately, Neil Maupay couldn't convert it, but I thought Brighton were very impressive now to hold out Leicester. Brendan Rodgers is class manager. He had his team set up well. They were well organised as usual, but Brighton were there. Shane Duffy came on after around 20 minutes, steadied the ship. Him and Lewis Dunk, the old partnership, kept it steady, and I thought they were very impressive, and I really do hope that they keep it going.
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially with the fact that the Irish lad Shane Duffy coming off the bench and whatever, it looks like he's going to get a few games now. It can only bode well for Ireland if our players are playing. A real obvious one. I'm not really going to touch on it too much. I'll let you use, but Seamus Coleman, obviously captain of Everton and man of the match the other day against the best team in the league. What did you make of him?
I only seen the highlights of the game myself, but brilliant. I mean, the tackle on Mane when he got back that time was fantastic. And I mean, just in general, he was fantastic. Man of the match for definite. Especially playing against a top Liverpool side like that with Mane, Firmino up front, up against them. I know Salah didn't play. But yeah, brilliant. Great to see him back.
Jer, what did you think, obviously, being a Liverpool fan, seeing him come up against Mane?
Yeah, I'd have to totally agree with Gary Neville on Sky Sports on Sunday. Brilliant. I think there was just one stage in the first half, Mane just got a turn on him. It was only around like the halfway line, so it wasn't in a particularly major goal scoring threat. But Paul touched on their great tackle on Mane in the second half. He put in one great tackle as well on Gomez when he was getting forward in the second half. I thought he was excellent, and certainly it's great to see from an Irish point of view. I know it's a while away for our next game, but already potential competition for places and scratching hits, which is what you want from Steve Kenny's point of view.
Exactly, and that's the thing, isn't it? Competition is only healthy for the squad. It's only going to make players play better. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I remember we spoke about it the other night. We were saying how we're not having any of the hype that Seamus Coleman has finished. He's far from finished, and he's just proved that you say best team in the league. He's proved that he's well able to compete with them. Mane, one of the best attackers in the league, probably one of the fastest players in the league, and the Seamus stayed with him every step of the way. He tackled him, like Paul said. He was on the ball every time. He very rarely got cut out, and he organised. He rallied his team. He motivated them, and even drove them on. They nearly scored there at the very end. I don't. It was Tom Davies, I think, had an effort off the post. But he kept pushing his team forward.
Yeah, no, and that's it. Like, but Seamus is always doing stuff like that, and just it kind of goes
Yeah.
unnoticed by Irish fans who don't watch, say Everton regularly. They go on saying he's finished and stuff like this because Matt Doherty's the new shiny toy at the minute, scoring
Yeah.
goals and doing assists, which by all means totally fine. I get that, but we have to remember that Seamus has played pretty much at the top level for 11 years nearly. Well, I say top level, I say Premier League level, and he's obviously had a couple of stints in Europe, obviously with Everton. No other real player in the Irish team comes to mind that has done that in that time span recently.
Yeah, just because Matt Doherty scores the goals, like you say, he's getting assists every week. He's driving forward. People have forgotten how good Seamus really is, and people are quick to forget what he's done for Ireland and what he's done for his club. And there's always a discussion about whether they can be fit into the same team. Obviously, whatever Stephen Kenny decides to go with, we have to accept it and be patient with it. But I think there's definitely an opening for the two boys to be in the one squad. I don't know what we spoke about the other night, Paul, but Paul Tierney and Ger, do you think it's possible to fit Seamus Coleman and Matt Doherty?
We'll go with you first, Ger.
I definitely think so. Like it's annoying when you think back to Mick's first game away in Gibraltar. Like he just totally dismissed it. They can't play together just because it didn't work that night. Like as me and Paul also I think touched on as well last Saturday. Like that was a horrible night for football. It was in a terrible pitch and terrible conditions. Like you can't just write off after one game. You have to give it plenty of tries. And I think that's the great thing for Stephen Kenny. He's got the 2 Euro Nations League games against Bulgaria and Finland before that crucial game against Slovakia. I'm just going to break there for a second because Manchester United have gone in front. Martial 6 minutes in, so they're 1-up against Sheffield United. Probably expected Man United now to go and win this game.
What was the goal like?
But, I didn't actually fully see if those two busy making sure I look quite central in the camera, but I'll catch the glimpse on the replay now in a second. But just going back to your point there, yeah, just like I think that them 2 games are a good chance to see kind of work for 2 quality players, and there's no reason why. So just to go, yeah, lovely little flick from Rashford, takes it to the byline, pulls it back into the 6-yard box, and Martial meets the dummy man there. Sheffield United, they were disappointed because they had 2 defenders and they didn't really react quick enough to it, and straight through the goalkeeper Simon Moore. So dream start for Manchester United.
Okay, just finish up on your point there with James. I think as well that you're right though. He did give up on the Doherty and Coleman duo, whatever you want to call it, very very quickly. I didn't think the Gibraltar game was a good game to kind of put a measure on it. Didn't they play together in one game and he played in front?
They played together as well. Georgia away, but Doherty was in the left-hand side because Stevens, I think, was I can't remember, he was either injured or suspended that game.
But did he not come on at one point at right mid again? Maybe it was Gibraltar. I think he came on against Gibraltar at right midfield, and it wasn't that they weren't that good together as well. But maybe it's Gibraltar.
That was a horrible game at home as well. So
the game away was very, very difficult. Obviously, you mentioned the wind as well. Like you could see planes taking off in the background, which is obviously another side effect. But I go on to the Coleman point. I think you could fit Coleman in.
I was going to come to you anyway.
Yeah. I think with the Coleman point, yeah, you could definitely fit him in, but I think you'd have to kind of change the formation a bit as well, because you can't they tried Doherty. Maybe it would work in the future at right mid, but he is a right wing back, and the position does suit him better. So maybe if we adapted to maybe a 3-5-2 formation and put Coleman in at right centre half alongside Egan and Duffy, or maybe Keogh and Duffy, it could work out too. You don't know. Like it's worth a go.
Keogh's gone.
Well, Keogh gone, right? Egan and Duffy then.
Or possibly Darragh Lenihan.
Yeah,
no.
True.
I think there's younger players coming in that'll take their places. People like Lenihan and Kevin Long who do nothing for the Irish national team. I think there's players.
I still put Darragh Lenihan and Kevin Long.
Blackburn have had a good season as well, so he'd be a shout to be in the squad anyway.
Darragh Lenihan attracted interest from Sheffield United in January, no matter how much or not you can read into that. No disrespect to Kevin Long, like he's just taken up a number in the squad that could easily be given to a young player to gain experience.
Yeah, but even at that, there's Jimmy Dunn there who looks like he's going to be staying on there at Burnley. Done well, I think, at Hearts when he was out there on loan. he was on the bench the other night. Maybe it's because they were depleted or whatever. But if he starts getting a run in there, that could be good for us. Keeping that Irish thing going. Obviously, I'd say Robbie Brady. I'd say someone will come in for him. Nearly a chance there for Everton. But like, I just find it. People going on about the likes of Lenihan and stuff like that. I just think they're past the sell by day at this rate, and there's better players coming
Yeah,
through.
but
I think Nathan Collins and Masterson and O'Shea are all going to be better.
I see your point, Lennon, but like I look at Lennon, he's in the exact same situation as John Egan 2 years ago, same age, kind of same profile, and look how John Egan has taken off. Okay, in fairness, John Egan didn't have the queue of young players come up as Lennon has. I just think like as
John
Doherty as
Egan
well
had
as
bad
2 years.
injuries though. That's the only reason.
Yeah, but still, like it's only what 27 he started breaking down team. Same with Matt Doherty. Obviously, I know he was trying to get in James Coleman, but I just wouldn't be so quick. If Blackburn were to get promoted, he'd definitely be a key player for them next season. Or even who's to say that a championship or Premier League club wouldn't come in from. But I do agree with you, like, because like you're looking at him, he's 26, and as you mentioned, like Nathan Collins, Darren O'Shea, even Conor Masson, they're all 21, 22. You would be more inclined to think they're going to be
Gomez, what a player.
The next production line.
Sorry, just some lovely feet there by Andrew Gomez midfield. I was listening. Yeah, look, we're not really going to agree on it. I don't think that Lenihan's worth any use myself, but if you think he is, then fair enough. But just in regards, obviously, with the Prem, the race for Europe's kind of hotting up a little bit with Sheffield United getting 2 dodgy results that obviously didn't go in their favour, and then Wolves winning, and then United drawing with Spurs. So it's kind of all kind of opened up for teams that are going for it. Especially, we don't know what's going on with the Manchester City Champions League spot. So it will be interesting to see if 5th place is up for grabs and who finishes in the so-called top 5 by the end of the season.
Yeah, well, obviously Chelsea winning on Sunday as well. That was a big result because it put them 5 points ahead of United and Wolves, which is a bit of a gap. Obviously, they're playing City tomorrow. Even at home, they're going to be up against it, obviously, with no fans as well. But watching Wolves the other day, I think when they have their full strength side, and obviously there's going to be times where they're not going to have that during this period where they're playing 6 weeks, 2 games a week. It's going to be tough for them. But if Wolves have the full strength squad, they're definitely in with a shout for it. I think Sheffield United, I mean, they've had a fantastic season so far, and to get any more points or finish any higher would be a really big achievement. But I think Wolves are well in it. I think it might be between United, Chelsea and Wolves, and Leicester are stuttering at the minute as well. They've been stuttering since Christmas, so that place could open up as well if the teams below keep getting points and Leicester keep dropping them.
Yeah, Jack, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd agree with Paul there, especially Leicester. Leicester have been fairly solid the last few years, and like I know that Brighton team were well organised last night, but it was a poor result all the same. They should have there was times they should have pushed ahead, and they were held back for the entire game. A team pushing for Europe like them, it should be putting in better performances, and I think it's obviously there's still a chance for them there. And with Sheffield United as well, like they've kind of taken people by surprise. Some people might have tipped them to go straight back down or perform poorly this season, but they've nobody could have anticipated this, and they've pushed hard. And unfortunately, since they've came back, there was a bit of an injustice, I suppose, when the goal against Villa didn't count, John Egan's header. But it's something they should have got 3 points out of that game. I know they lost John Egan there the last day against Newcastle. But it's easy to get into a bad run of form like that. Like 2 bad results now. I hope they turn it around. But it's very easy to see things go downhill. And at this stage, the way things have stopped and started up again, it's very easy for clubs to go on a bad run of form. Players' fitness is going to be low. These players that were running on momentum before the break, all of a sudden the momentum is gone, and now it's a fresh start again with players that are motivated, playing against other players that are motivated to break down the bigger teams. And it's not going to get any easier for the likes of Sheffield United or Leicester, I don't think, anyway, unless they can rally the team a bit more,
Yeah, Jer, what are your thoughts on obviously the race for Europe?
Just speaking of Sheffield United there, they actually should be 2-0 down. And I just wanted a good chance, good link-up play between Martial and Rashford. Martial just seemed to take a little bit too much out of it, and then Moore came out and kind of got a bit of a parry to it, and it just fell so kindly to Rashford. But I think it came out a little before he knew it, and he ended up kind of almost tapping wide from what was essentially an open goal, although there was good pressure put on him from Jack Robinson. The race for Europe, yeah, a lot will depend on that fifth spot, and it's very interesting because we will know before the end of the season what's going to happen there. Like, so that will make it interesting. So I imagine most teams at the moment are aiming for fifth. I'm probably sorry, aiming for fourth, and then see what happens with fifth place. I probably would have said before ball was kicked, I kind of saw it staying the way that it was, but I would worry for Leicester City, as Paul said, like they're struggling a little bit. They were two very winnable games they had against both Leicester and Brighton, two teams struggling. They'd be kicking themselves, like to go 1-0 up away against Watford. You just have to make sure you see that game out. And then obviously I know they were lucky maybe not to lose yesterday with Brighton, missed the penalty, but they had a lot of the ball in the second half without really kind of doing much. I would kind of fear and worry for them. I think Chelsea, probably overall, I think looked the best out of all them teams so far this season, but just a little bit inconsistent. Manchester United were definitely showing signs before the break, and Pogba and Bruno Fernandes linked up really well the other night when Pogba came on. It'll be interesting to see what they're like in this game. Wolves definitely dark horse. You know, me and Paul watched that game Saturday. Second half, they're excellent. The addition of Dan Traore, obviously we know about Matt Doherty, but like the likes of Ruben Neves as well in midfield. Jimenez, 14 goals this season is very impressive. I see it between them teams. Arsenal, I know they're looking at only 6 points off fifth, but they've looked shocking since they came back. I just can't see them picking up any.
Don't include them. Don't include them, Shower.
Yeah, like they haven't shown any signs all season. They're going to have a bit of consistency. At least Manchester United and Chelsea have shown that. So at the moment, I would probably think if it was just to be top four, I think United and Chelsea. And if it's going to be top five, I think Wolves. I think Leicester could actually even end up finishing sixth and missing out altogether. Just, I think like they've been on free fall since January, and the early signs since the break haven't been great.
Is that because they have a dodgy manager?
And what's that? That's a bit much coming from someone who goes to a lot of Celtic matches as well.
Celtic fans don't like him.
That's because Celtic fans don't like him for the way they left. But like, to be honest, I don't blame him.
Yeah, we won't get into that at the moment.
We won't.
That's a different league. That is.
Norwich nearly scored. Hernandez.
That's a different show. That's a different show.
Yeah, that's the Celtic hour. But Norwich are nearly after scoring there. Hernandez cuts in on the right, goes past Coleman, Holgate, and Michael Keane, and hits a shot deflected out wide. So panic over. But yeah, it's you know the race for Europe is really hotting up, and Leicester they were nailed on before Christmas. I still think they'll get there because I still think they're a good few points ahead of the other teams, but they need to start winning games around them. And as you said, I think the Brighton game was a bit of an easy, or I wouldn't say easy game, but a game that you would have thought that they would have won on any other given day. I think that's fair to say. But I'm going to.
They have a very easy game.
What's that?
They have a very easy game coming up next anyway, Leicester.
Who are they playing next?
Arsenal away.
Oh.
Speaking of which, Paul, do you want to shout out who gave you that jersey there, Reckits?
So yeah, jersey front. You sorted out for me yourself and Rec Kits. They're online at Rec Kits on Instagram and Facebook as well. Fantastic jersey, obviously bruised banana, very popular from I think the 92-93 season. First season in the Premier League, so fantastic. Been looking to get it for a while, and it's great service from them.
Yeah, and obviously I got this 87. Don't know if you can really see it. If I pull back, you might not be able to hear me. But Reckits got that out to me as well as Celtic Retro one as well. So big shout out to Reckits and thanks for sorting us out with the jerseys.
Thanks very much.
Couple of comments there. You like this one, Jer? Peter Marr is going by the name. He's going undercover now. So, Peter Marr. I wish they would just give the trophy to Liverpool. Paul, would you present the trophy to Liverpool? Smiley face. He obviously knows my allegiances, Peter. I hope you're keeping well, Peter, wherever you are in the world at the moment. But I will not be presenting any trophy. They should probably give it to them by now as well. Anything to add there, Jer?
Nice to see you got a bit of support out there. He was a good man actually, but on Saturday as well. Peter Marr, he was there for a watch along as well for West Ham and Wolves, and
I've
wasn't
seen him in
shy
the
of his love
comments.
for
Yeah,
Liverpool. Yeah, he wasn't shy for his love for Liverpool with the comments. Hopefully, I'm still optimistic that Philip and Peter will both be celebrating the league title at 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
well, when I seen him 8 years ago, he supported Man United, but sure, there you go.
I'm
Anyway,
trying to make out just trying to make this picture of what GA jersey has on there in the background. Looks like Tipperary.
I think it is. All those O'Neill's jerseys all look, or half tips all look the same. Sean Dunn says, "Hey, Sean. I hope you're keeping well." He said Sean Dunn 7 years ago. I don't know what that's all about, but anyway, Evan Hills Holder says hi. Then he tells us that he is from Ghana and he's looking for an agent. Sorry, Evan, but we are not an agency. But best of luck with that, and maybe someone who's watching the video can help you out with that. All right. So there are all the comments that we have so far. Get your comments in for discussion. If there's something that you want to hear us talking about, let us know in the comments. Lads, is there anything topical that you just want to get your kind of sink your teeth into?
Well, I was just going to say, what do you think about the relegation battle? Just watching Aston Villa here, they've been pushing Newcastle fairly well. Like John Joe Shelby said in an interview there yesterday, the team that Newcastle have, he's very confident in them that they can make a top 10, you know? So obviously it'd be good for them to see them push onto the top 10. But Villa have been pressing them well. You know, there's El Ghazi has been putting in some serious ball into the box. They've threatened a few times. There was a few close chances for Villa. Newcastle haven't shown much really yet. And, you know, this Villa team, you'd be forgiven for thinking, you know, they're a point from safety. You know, they're down 19th. Obviously, we won't go into Norwich because they're probably more or less finished. But I think Villa still have it well to fight for, you know. And if they keep performing like this, and, you know, moving the ball well, creating chances in the box, there's a chance they could stay up. But I just wanted to see, what do you think about the relegation battle? Do you see Villa holding their place in the Premier League? Or how do you see it panning out?
Paul, you go first.
Well, personally, I think they will. I'm not sure who'll take the place for them, obviously, because I did say Brighton in their first PL show, but they've obviously surprised us. Surprised me in particular, beating us 2-1 on Saturday. But even yesterday, they were fantastic. And I mean, if they keep that up, they're going to go. I think they're going to be safe. Villa, I think as you were talking about Sheffield United, you probably would have tipped Villa to finish above Sheffield United when the season first started. But looking at Bournemouth here, Bournemouth have started well, but I did watch a bit of them on Saturday against Palace, and they were lacking in everything. There was nothing really going on, no creativity. Obviously, losing Ryan Fraser is huge, even though he wasn't playing particularly well this season. To lose a player like that is vital. Josh King went off injured as well, but they're showing a bit of heart here so far. Against Wolves, 22 minutes gone, but ultimately I think Wolves will take charge once Nuno gets his hands on them after half time.
And yourself, Jer?
Yeah, I think Norwich are certainly one team I think we can definitely write off. I actually still give them a bit of hope because it was only 6 points before the restart. We've seen teams come back from the dead before, but like their performance on Friday against Southampton didn't really inspire much confidence. Aston Villa, I've seen them twice. I thought they lacked serious ambition against Sheffield United. They barely even pushed to try and win that game. They showed a little bit more against Chelsea, but they were outclassed and probably should have actually lost that game a lot more. They completely scored against them on the play. Like, it's literally, I think my mate was saying to me around about them last bit. They remind you of an under 10 team. Like, just get the ball to the best player, get the ball to Jack Grealish, and let him do the rest. Like, there's no real kind of clear push game plan with them. Obviously, having McGinn back is a big addition because he was a good player before he got injured before Christmas, but still taking a while to kind of settle in. So I would fear for them as well. Bournemouth, one team I thought they were going to be okay, just purely because I thought like they were unfortunate injuries. But yeah, like they were really disappointing against Crystal Palace. A game I thought they'd at least get something from. Ryan Fraser, obviously, as well, as a massive blow to them. But I still feel there is goals in them. Joshua King, Callum Wilson, they can pop up with goals. Where I look at with West Ham and like just similar to Aston Villa, they seem to be lacking real creativity. Jarrett Bowen tried quite hard last night, but like in general, like the likes of Parcells, Felipe Anderson, they don't really kind of seem to be quite up to the fight. So I think the two Claret and Blue teams, West Ham and Aston Villa, will go down along with Norwich.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one. I actually had said on a few Premier League shows that I was on any podcasts that I thought Brighton would stay up, and they've had two great results. Obviously, the win against Arsenal. Sorry, Paul, but that was a great result for them. Like let's be honest. Nobody thought that they were going to beat Arsenal. I actually predicted that they would win 2-1, and I got that right. So, I was
Your money on
I
it?
no, I was on Ross and Barry's Energize show, and we did predictions. It's the only prediction of the whole weekend they got right, but probably the most unlikely that I thought would win. But there you go. Just with Brighton, I think that they have the strength that's needed to stay up. Whether they have the experience, I'm not too sure, but they do have good players around the squad, and I think they were the most unlucky with injuries. Connolly was supposed to be ruled out for the season. He's came back, and look at the difference he made against a very good Leicester team. But I think Leicester, for me, I thought that was a game that they would win, because it's the type of game at this point they need to obviously get results as quick as possible. Villa, I mean, they've been unlucky. They took the lead against Chelsea, but it always looked like Chelsea were going to get a goal back and win it then. As soon as they got the equaliser, you felt as though Chelsea were going to go on and win it. And then they should have really lost against Sheffield United as well. They didn't look good against Sheffield United, and obviously the keeper decision. So that was obviously one as well that you were kind of looking, going, oh, like I fear for Villa here, because they just do not look that well. As much as you would have, you were expecting to fight more so of it. I know most games feel like a pre-season friendly, but in that game I didn't really see any fight from them or whatever. It's as Jer said, they just give the ball to Grealish and expect him to work miracles for them, and you're not going to stay up doing that. I know Conor Howard had a good game, and all the Villa fans were raving about him after the Sheffield United game for a set pieces and stuff like that. But I just don't see where they're going to get the goals to stay up, Villa. Whether they stay up or not, I don't really care. It's not a big thing to me. Like, I'd like to see for Conor Howard's sake, but at the same time, he hasn't been getting much game time for them this season, because they've been in the Premier League. They went out and spent big, whereas if they did go down, then maybe he's back in the Championship. I'm not sure. Would he get picked up by a Premier League club? Probably not, because he hasn't played as much as I said. Even the team coming up, I don't think they'd really gamble on him, but I think he could stay at Villa if they did go down and try and get back up with a rebuild again. And Bournemouth, I said it before, I think they look very Championship standard. And I can't remember, was it the Premier League show when people were laughing at me? Paul, I don't think you were laughing at me. I think it was
it was Gary Curran and
Peter.
Peter was they were laughing at both of us, but
I mean, it's
even
been fairly evident though, hasn't it? Because I mean, Fraser won't play. Brooks is half injured playing, and he looks really good, to be fair. But he's half injured playing, and then they just look Championship standard all over the pitch. And I think going down for them, I think, is inevitable as well. So I think it is as it is. I like Norwich though. I think Norwich, actually, they know they're probably going down, but they're still trying to play. They're still trying to play here against Everton. They've probably been the better side. Hernandez is giving Coleman an awful time on the right, actually, or on the left rather. Sorry, but he was just after he grabbed your man on the shoulders there to just let him know that he knew he was in for the game. But like, Norwich have really impressed me, even though as I said, I think they're going down. They're just exciting. They're young. I really like Max Aarons. I think he's a class player. I know they got hammered by Southampton the other night, but he was still really good in the team. I don't think he was at fault for any of the goals, but he was just all over the place. I remember he was over at left back at one point. But I'm just looking there, and I just think West Ham, I think they'll stay up. I think Watford will stay up, and I think Brighton will stay up. I just think they're strong enough, and I think Watford have been brilliant since Pearson came in, and I think they've got players like characters there like Troy Deeney who will stand up and make a difference in bigger games, as with Liverpool, as we've seen. Whereas I don't see where Bournemouth have that. Like, Callum Wilson's not going to stand out and get you a few goals and bully defenders. He's good sometimes, and then other times you're just looking at him just going like, what's all the fuss about you? So
yeah.
And with West Ham, I think they do have the players to stay up just about. But Villa, again, I don't see, like, people go on about Jack Grealish so much. I don't understand. Again, I think he's very overrated. I think if he went to a top 6 team, he'd look very average, and he wouldn't even stand out. I think he's in a bad Villa team, and he looks brilliant, in my opinion. That's not sour
Yeah.
grapes or anything like that. Just me, just being honest. That's my opinion on him. Villa fans could tell me different, or yourselves if you want. But that's just my 2 cents. I know I went on a bit of a ramble there, but I that's who I think is going to go down, and I think I gave a good explanation as why I think they'll go down. There's just no leaders in the team.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, and as you say about Grealish, you've both said how he's overrated, and he's fairly average at the end of it. But the Villa manager Dean Smith hasn't disguised his importance. He said in the press conferences, that how important he is. He's a top player. Like, he gets targeted, and he's fouled. He's fouled in promising positions, meaning it sets up set pieces for Villa, which is where a few of their goals come from. But Dean Smith has said he can play at number 8, number 10. He can play off the left. Like, obviously he is important to Villa, but overall as a player, I think he is very overestimated. His power and stuff. He said that he wasn't fed the ball enough against Chelsea, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't win. Which is, it does kind of show their reliance on him, which isn't enough to stay in the Premier League. Really, if you're relying on an average enough player as your star player, it isn't a good sign.
Yeah, this is it. Norwich just have a free kick on the edge of the box there, which have just hit the wall. I thought it was a good tackle by Holgate, but he looked like he won the ball, but the ref's given it. Do you think that's another thing I wanted to touch on? Obviously, Jay, you were watching the Merseyside derby the other day, and Luca Dean, I can't remember who he tackled, but he won the ball, very clear as day.
It was. Who was it on? Was it? I know it led to a free kick just on the edge of the box. I know the tackler. Yeah, man. I know the tackler on, but.
And he gets booked for it, and it's a foul. Like, what's the game coming to if that's a foul?
And he clearly won the ball, like.
Yeah, but like that's what I was asking you, because I thought you would admit like that it was a perfectly good tackle. And to get booked for it, it's ridiculous.
So it was funny because I was listening to the Redmen TV as well, so their watch along first, and they went screaming ballistic like in the first angle, like, oh, that's a foul and everything else like that. And then when they seen the camera angles, like they started bursting to laugh, like, oh my god, like that's a perfectly good tackle. Like, no, it was ridiculous. Like it's like, let's remember as well, if that happened 5 or 6 yards further up the pitch, it would have been a penalty and would have been overturned. So like, just goes to show like, if it's a different situation, but like you see a lot of soft kind of tackles like that. And then there was one instance as well in the first half, I think Minamino went in hard on an Everton player, like more officials than that, and nothing was given. Liverpool broke away and had a decent chance that Bobby Firmino kind of scuffed wide. But like, it's just this inconsistency of a referee. Like, it's been in the game for the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm pretty sure we could be doing a watch along towards the end of the next season. We could still talk about the same talking point.
Yeah, I don't like VAR at all. Like, like, why wasn't it used for the Villa game when the ball was in the net and Egan's there like celebrating? And
yeah,
the ref was just like, what? No, the watch didn't say it was in. I was like, well, go to VAR then and check. It's a clear.
Surely, like, if Aston Villa end up staying up by a point, or Sheffield United end up missing out in Europe by 2 points, teams could have a right to go and look into that. Like, a fundamental that was brought in this season didn't work, or a few seasons ago didn't work, and another fundamental that was brought in this season, you didn't bother go checking. Like, there's definitely clubs could look into that for lawsuits, because there'd be huge money lost out for that for clubs to get relegated. This is well another point I just want to mention as well. We're on about Aston Villa, the Conor Hourihane situation. We were actually talking earlier about Ireland team selection. He's another one as well, like, with his performances, because he's been inconsistent in and out of the team with Aston Villa this season, and with his age profile. I think like that he's in danger of slipping out of the Ireland team. They look at the likes of Jason Malumbi, Jason Knight coming up, Josh Cullen. You've got James McCarthy, who can get a regular run of games. Same age profile, but a little bit more experience. Like, I look at it, the team for Slovakia, Stephen Kenny probably already has 3 or 4 bankers in it. And like, for me, Conor Hourihane definitely is one of those.
Yeah, Paul, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing with Ireland's midfielders is a lot of them are generally the same sort of player. You look at Hendrick as well. Sorry, there's a chance for Bournemouth here. No, nothing came of it. Yeah, I mean, I think he should definitely be involved in the squad. But as you've mentioned, Josh Cullen, Jason Malumbi as well. These guys have to be involved at some stage, and the Nations League is going to be a good opportunity for them. Obviously, this group we're in as well, we have one extra game from the last group we had, where we only had 3 teams in the group, including ourselves. So there's going to be opportunities, and I mean, Hourihane's, he's not going to play in every game in the Nations League, and I mean, they're all fighting for places for that playoff in October as well. I think he should be involved, but I think players are going to get an opportunity come September.
And Jack, did
Yeah.
you? I know you had a bit of an issue there with your headphones. Did you hear about?
Yeah, no, I'm back on again now. Just improving the lighting a small bit. Yeah, just on that, I know we were talking about Glenn Whelan, but I'm a huge fan of Glenn Whelan. I always think he was key.
Go on, Jack. Sorry.
Is it okay? No, you're fine. I was just saying about how he was always an anchor in the Irish midfield, but I think going into these run of games, I couldn't see Glenn Whelan. Obviously James McCarthy is the point I'm trying to get at. If he can prove himself for Palace, if he can show Stephen Kenny that he's able, I think James McCarthy could fill in that midfield. We could see Glenn Whelan being moved out of the midfield, move out of the team, and have James McCarthy in there if he can show that he's good enough. But I think that Conor Howard will definitely be in the team, if not the first game, the second game. But I think he's probably one of the main men in the squad. Jeff Hendrick will be there as well, obviously. But I think James McCarthy will have a lot to say about how the midfield is lined up over the first few games. I think the ball's in his court, really, if he can prove that he's able and if he's good enough. I definitely think he'll be in there because he's done it all before,
Yeah, I think that Howard should probably leave Villa and go to a club where he's more going to be the main man. I know he takes set pieces and stuff, but that's only when he plays. So maybe go somewhere where he'll be the main man all the time. Might suit him better, Jared, to be honest. I don't, as you said there with McCarthy coming back into the fold, he's name-checked Malumbi, he's name-checked Harry Arthur. So he's on the lookout for players to come in for competition. So it's only going to bode well if that is the case, as I think we mentioned with the centre-backs. So, as you say, Howard Hinn, I don't think through any fault of his own. I think the games that he's played in, he's had an impact and he's done quite well for him. As a manager, just doesn't. I don't know whether he doesn't trust him or what, but it's a bit odd, I think, anyway. Because the fans, anytime I take to Twitter, Villa fans are always going on about how good he is. I don't know if he's followed Deck Pearce. He's a big fan of IFF TV and he's a big DJ for Today FM. He's always tweeting. He loves Villa, and he's always tweeting about Conor Howard and saying how brilliant he was. And he's not a biased fan. He goes to the games with Paul McGrath. He's a massive Villa fan. But he says it as it is. He doesn't just say that Howard's brilliant because he's Irish. He does think that he's been very, very good for him. I think he's been a great signing for him. So if he did go, I think he'd only be held in high regard. Sorry, Calvin Lewin nearly got in over the top. But he'd only be held in high regard anyway at Villa if he did leave. And if they go down, I think he could possibly be the main man there. But obviously, they might decide with the parachute payments that they'll get, and they'll want to come straight back up, and the cash they get for Grealish, because it's inevitable he's going to leave as well. Will they spend that on players who he thinks are better? Not that they've gone down, but I'm saying it is almost like it's destined to happen. It may not, but either way, if they stay up, he'd probably be more likely to leave, I think. But if they go down, it will be interesting to see whether, if they have the cash, will they go and try and bring in another player to replace him, or will they try and keep a big squad and try and get up that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think with Horahan, go on.
It helps the fact
one at a time, lads.
No, so I was just going to say on Conor Hurhan, I definitely don't think he helps in an unsettled team in Aston Villa. Like you said, they bought in so many players during the summer. I think it's a mixture of that, and Dean Smith still wants to stay loyal to players that got him up. That even now, after 30-odd games of the season and a 3-1 break, he still doesn't know what his best 11 is. And I think he's just seems to be kind of one of the ones that seems to be missing out on that. I think if Villa stay up, I definitely think he should leave, because I think even if you get Grealish and some of these players leave, they're only going to try and look to replace them, and kind of at the end of the day, they're going to be looking at their squad and thinking, right, but this squad was just good enough to keep us up. We need to be better than that, and I think he'll be one of the ones that will suffer from that. But I think if they go down, if we've seen them in the championship level with Barnsley, that attract them to Aston Villa, and obviously with Villa as well, how good he can be in that league. But I just be a little bit worried from an Irish point of view with his age profile, and the likes of Jason Knight, from confident that 3 or 4 years to be a Premier League player, to Jason Malumbi, that fairly well certain one way or another will be a Premier League player next season. And likes of Adam Brown and Josh Cullen, who are under 25 years of age, but still have aspirations of making the Premier League.
Paul, you were going to say something. I think Jerry cut across you by mistake.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously, with him being part of the squad that came up as well with Villa, it'd be very important experience-wise. You know, you always hear managers talking about it when teams do go down, having the experience to get back up, because the Championship is a very tough league, 46 games, potentially 3 extra games with the playoffs as well. I think Villa would be looking for players who were there already to stay on and hopefully get them back to where they were if they did go down.
Jack, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, like I suppose as you were saying, the parachute payment, if they go back down to the Championship, you know, they will have their money that they got from the Premier League, and as well, like selling Grealish, that'll be extra money as well. But the danger is, and it's the same with a lot of these kind of mid to low table Premier League teams that are competing, can they keep hold of these key players? Likes of Tyrone Mings, he just had a fantastic block there. It was a certain goal almost for Newcastle, and Tyrone Mings cleared it. But the likes of him, you know, some of these other big players, will they be able to hold them? You know, like obviously, as Paul said, the amount of games, it's a very demanding league. If they don't have the amount of players and, you know, decent players to back them up, it isn't so straightforward to come straight back up. You know, it might sound easy for a team just coming back from the Premier League, but I think unless they can back them players up, you know, if you're losing the likes of Grealish and all them, you need to replace them with quality as well. You know, it isn't enough to just sit on your money and hope that you can make your way back up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But it's going to be an interesting situation, I think, this summer of what actually happens. In that regard, with Villa, you know, their situation, how they're going to end up. That's going to be the biggest thing, I think. Just look at here, like Everton look really, really tired against this Norwich team. Not really doing much. Seamus Coleman looks tired. Obviously a couple of games in a couple of days. Maybe at 31 isn't great for him, but that could just be the fact that it's, you know, it was the first game after the break.
And Ancelotti did say that in his pre-match press conference, that Sunday's game did take a lot out of Everton, and probably even the fact as well that Norwich played Friday, 2 days extra rest, is possibly a reason why it could be telling as well that Everton look a little bit more fatigued in that game.
Yeah, they just look a little bit jaded at the moment. There's not a whole lot going on. From Iwobi looks a little bit dangerous. Bernard came in for Gordon. So Charles nearly took someone's head off with a flying kick. 3 out. No, they've just been committing silly fouls against the Norwich players all over the pitch, and just really, really silly fouls. Tom Davis gave away one there a minute ago. I have to say, Tom Davis is one of the slowest players I've ever seen for his age. Like, I think he's 20, 21, and he just looks like he's like 35 when he runs around. I see players like Jordan Henderson sprinting so much quicker to him for a ball. He just looks so slow. He played well against Liverpool, but he's back to being Tom Davis here, and he's just slowest man in the world. Stuck in the mud, he looks like.
What do you make as well of the Jeff Hendrick situation with Burnley? Sean Dyche has now come out and confirmed that's it. For his last game, he's leaving at the end of the month, along with Aaron Lennon, and I can't remember who else he said. Obviously, he's been strongly linked with a move to Serie A. What do you think is going to unfold there over the next couple of weeks? And it's 2-0 Manchester United. Martial, I think it was a Wan-Bissaka cross, and very similar enough to the first goal. Like, well, similar enough essentially, just into the net. But it's been deserved. Man United had vast majority of possession. Probably should have had it before this. So I think even before half time now, that's game over, and a crucial 3 points for Manchester United. The goal, good little play by Fernandes, faint to finish it, slays it off to Pogba, who lays it off to Martial. It cuts inside past who was it that he skinned there? Stevens, actually, he made a fool of, and then good finish by Martial, who just put on the play from really. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka kind of getting past Stevens there too quickly, and then good finish from Martial. So 2-0 Man United, 44 minutes gone, and that's coming on United's first win, surely now with the restart. Back to Jeff Hendrick there.
Okay, I have the comment written up there now, so for anyone who's joining, they'll be able to see what the comment is saying. So, Paul, what are your thoughts on Jeff Hendrick? I'm not sure if I've already spoken about it already. I think I have.
Yeah, well, I think I can understand why he wouldn't want to sign a contract. Obviously, with clubs like AC Milan and Roma being linked, I mean, that's a dream move for an Irish player of any age, any description.
Well,
Um,
I believe that they couldn't agree a contract, so it's been going on a while. Like
yeah,
they've tried to sort something out, but they haven't been able.
yeah. Well, obviously his head's been turned, so maybe I mean there's something else in the works, or maybe he feels like he could move away from Burnley. I think he's doing well for Burnley, and I think they missed him a lot the other night. I don't think he would have made that much of a difference. I think City were class, and they just outclassed Burnley from the word go. But I think he would have helped them a lot, and some of the goals probably could have been avoided with him helping out the defense as well. Um, I don't really know what to make of it. There's obviously something going on in the background that he wouldn't sign a contract, so he's obviously had his head turned.
Well, I think it also comes down to come on and get your thoughts now in a sec, Jack. I think it's also a thing that
Okay.
it comes down to, um, if you look at, or he's been in the Premier League and the only club he's played for was Burnley. That's off the back of the Euros. He was playing with Derby before that. I think maybe I know Robbie Brady signed and everything like that, but I think maybe after a few years he realised like this isn't really the club for him because of the way they play. They're so you think of Burnley, you think of Park the Bus, you think of very compact team, very organised team. But Hendrick, from what I know from talking to him, is he likes to play in the middle. He's been shipped out right. I think I said this the other night with Jack and Will,
Yeah.
but he's been shipped out to the right. When he likes to play in the centre, and he's been shipped out a lot, out on the wings or whatever. And at that point, it's all well and good when you're playing on the wing or whatever when you're able to get up and attack, but he's mainly being used as a defensive winger, which would be really really annoying. And then when he comes away with Ireland, then he's playing as a he's being put back in the middle. I'm sure that's confusing for him as well when he comes back in and plays for us. Oh, here's Norwich now. Save Pickford. But when he comes in to join up with Ireland, he is may do that defensive role even more so with us. And then like it must be frustrating for him. So I think now what he needs to do is find a club that suits his style of play, and make sure that he's not like a squad player. Make sure that he's a first team player and he gets into the squad as a first team player in the playing week in week out for the first team in the position that he likes. Because otherwise, what's the point? He'll just be another player that you go, oh, he had potential, never really lived up to what he could have done. Because everyone talks about the Euros and how good he was, and everyone thought he was going to go on to be a top level Premier League player. But there's not too many of them around anymore. That's what I said about Seamus Coleman earlier on. Not many others come to mind if you're thinking longevity. But Jack, your thoughts on Jeff?
Yeah, I fully agree
Half time here at the Everton game. Anyway.
Okay. I do definitely agree that a move away from Burnley is the right thing. If he's not being played in the right position, there's no point, as you said. I think the thing with Jeff Hendrick is he still has so much more to prove. He has a lot more to give for Ireland as well. So obviously it's important that he plays at a club that suits his style, that he's played somewhere where he actually enjoys playing, and where he's most effective. And I think if he's John Joe Shelby there, I think AC Milan or a different team on the continent, anyone might add a new side to Jeff's game, And I think we know what he can do. We know where he is effective, but there's definitely more to him, I think, and he definitely has more to give for club and for country. If another team can introduce another style of play to him, make him more flexible, make him more agile, for Ireland as well, obviously. But I think a move away is the best thing. Whether Robbie Brady will follow him where he goes is anyone's guess. But I think the only way is for him to find a new club.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that about obviously Robbie Brady, because he comes into the best mates, aren't they? So you
Yeah.
obviously pictures of Robbie Brady's missus putting up pictures with Jeff coming around with with their new baby and stuff like that, minding the baby. He obviously enjoys the fact that he's there with his best mate, and I think he'd be quite close with Kevin Long as well, considering the fact he's been there so long. I think he holds the record amount of appearances, probably off the bench as well, to be fair, for Burnley. So it's just I think Brady will go. But I think Brady will go for a fee. Like Brady was coming out of contract this year, but they had a clause where they could just extend it. I think they just extended to try and get a fee for him. with Jeff going as well. Like, cause you'd still get about 4 million for Brady. I think you think you'd probably 4 million at best at the minute, but. He like a West Brom or something like that would not be a bad show for Brady, especially if they're coming up. I just wouldn't like to see him in the Championship again. I think he does have Premiership quality, and I think with Jeff, I think he'll go to a good team. I don't think there's any danger of Jeff dropping down a level. I think if he doesn't go Serie A, I think another club in the Prem will try and get him. I think there was a few clubs linked with him anyway. I don't know, never heard of what clubs were linked, but somewhere like a Southampton or something wouldn't be a bad place for him to go play his football, or someone of that ilk. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't really see him getting into too many other teams. And if he went to AC Milan, I'd be delighted for him. I'd be interested to see how he got on. It's such a mad move, and obviously us as football fans, that's you think of AC Milan, you think of sexy football and stuff like that, and you just kind of. You want to live with that little bit of glamour and see an Irish player going there and trying to do well. So, yeah. I mean, what someone just said there, Tommy Mooney, going to Italy, if it happens, shouldn't adversely affect Hendrick being capped again. Well, I think Kenny would like Hendrick. I think Hendrick's been very mismanaged at international level, because we haven't had many good midfielders anyway, have we, in the last number of years. You struggle to think of any, like James McCarthy's probably the one that you kind of think of and go, okay, well, when he's in there, he's solid and he's going to do you a job, but he is a specific role. When you think of Hendrick, you don't know what his best role is as a player, do you? Like, is he a good, is he a good player at link and play? Is he a good attacking midfielder? He arrives late and scores goals. We've seen signs of that, but he's not done it often enough. So there's so many different things that you got to take into account. What if Kenny does use him? Where will he use him? And as Jay rightly mentioned about Howrahan as well, that will all come into play with him too. And if you're thinking longer term with Brady, I think Brady might need to opt to play as a left back for a club. He's still really good at left back. There's often games he's controlled from left back with Ireland. I've watched him more so before he had that bad injury, I think he was out for nearly 8 months. And then he came back and not really looked the same since he's been back, has he? Like, let's be honest. I know he scored against Gibraltar, but, I don't want to use the old cliche, I'd score against Gibraltar or something like that, but most Irish players would probably score against if you really try that hard. Let's be honest in that. There's some other comments. Kevin Tracy said he's also at an age where he has to think of getting a good contract, entering the peak years of his career, and he's never going to get much more money at Burnley. And I think that's right, Kevin. So thanks for your comment as well, Tommy, as well. Keep the comments coming in, and we'll keep talking through them. I think that is a good point, isn't it? That this is probably his last big money move, and he's probably has to start thinking about life after football, because it's a short career as much as they don't think it is. And then all they can really do otherwise is coach if they don't know anything else. I think Jeff, he could go into like personal training or something like that. He's always working out in the gym and stuff. But I think most of the players now, they just see coaching as that avenue to go on to next, because it's all they know.
Yeah.
But even just looking at the bigger picture, I think it'd be brilliant for Ireland in general that Jeff Hendrick goes to AC Milan, because like all our players are only playing in England and Scotland, which is very similar culture and the type of football and training regimes what we have here in Ireland. Going to the continent, picking up what they do in Italy and bringing that back to Ireland, and little things that can kind of help improve our standards of training, little drills and routines to do over in Italy, and just new ideas can only help freshen things up and kind of give us another way of looking at things. And like for the younger players coming up as well, like Malumbi, the likes of the Knights, the likes of Aaron Conley, Michael Bafembe, who are in the squad, breaking into the squad, picking up for them at a young age, pick up on little training routines that Jeff Hendrick picking up and watch Roma or AC Milan is doing, will only just help and benefit their game as well. And like I said, it's just good to see an Irish player, spread their wings. Like, it was great to see Jack Byrne doing it really well in Holland. And I think as well, as you mentioned, like Jeff Hendrick mismanaged. I'd say Stephen Kenny's probably been furious looking at that player, because there's much more in it than what we've seen from an Ireland point of view. And I think playing in Serie A, which is the less physical league in Premier League, more emphasis on the ball, passing, good play, would possibly only suit Jeff. And 27, 28 he is this year. Like, so definitely is 2 or 3 years, hopefully good years in Serie A if that was the move he was to take.
Yeah,
And plus, I think
you look at the players he might get to play with over there as well. Like even look at AC Milan at the minute. Maybe they're not as glamorous as they used to be, but Zlatan is still there, and that's an experience in itself. Could
He's
teach.
a winner.
Yes, exactly. He's a winner, and he'd instill that in the rest of the squad as well. Since he came back to them, their form has improved greatly, and even though he's injured now, they got a good 4-1 win the other night. So I mean, they're a team that are potentially on the up with young players there, and Jeff will get a chance there as well. It'd be great for him.
Yeah, no, I think so as well, and it's one of those things. I just wanted to say, like, every other game, bar the game that Jer was watching, is 0-0
Yeah.
at half time.
Yeah.
See that again, Jer?
my description.
Yeah.
I think my descriptions of the goals have been absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there's some more goals now in the second half. We're not going to be staying on this for the Liverpool game, in case anyone's wondering. Guys, get your comments in if there's something that I know someone's already said Coleman or Doherty. We've already discussed that, but there's other things you want us to talk about. It doesn't necessarily always have to be about Irish football. It can be about football in general, just our general opinion on things as well, if you want. So feel free to get the comments in. It's half time here in the Premier League games. The only game that has goals in it at the minute is 2-0 Manchester United. I think it was Martial and Rashford with the goals. Jer, am I right?
No, Martial, Brace.
Oh, you got Martial, got 2. Okay. So yeah, we're waiting on goals in the other games. They're all half time, waiting for the second half to come back. But we'll only be staying on for the second half of this game, and then we're going to be jumping off. But we're hoping to do more of these live videos. Getting involved, getting engagement with the fans and whatever. As much as we can, but they've been quite popular. People have been leaving us nice comments saying that they've been enjoying it the last few weeks and stuff like that. So,
and so I just want to say there, well, if there's anyone else watching the Villa Newcastle game, I'd like to hear what they think. But this game is definitely here for either of them. There's been chances for both sides. They're showing highlights here. Villa created several chances from crossing the ball into the box. Newcastle have done likewise. They've been testing the keeper from the edge of the box. John Joe Shelby, Matt Ritchie. If there's anyone else who's watching it, let me know what you think. But it's Villa have shown some promise. They've been crossing ball. Saint-Maxime has been a nightmare for the Villa defence as well for Newcastle. He's been making serious runs down the wing. Only for Tyrone Mings, he will put Newcastle in front as well. Joe Linton has been troubling them as well. It's anyone's game at the moment, from what I can see anyway.
I think that's an interesting thing what you said there. Just with the players there on Newcastle, I just thought to myself, there might be a bit of fun while we're waiting for the second half to kick back off. I've got the bleeding news on here on BBC One, waiting for that to end. But anyway, if you could pick your best 11 from ninth in the table downwards to the bottom of the table without choosing any of the top 8, be interested to see if we could pick an 11 between us. So I'm just going to get the table up to see who is actually 9th. But if you
Aubameyang's up front anyway.
Okay, well, I'll take that. So who's in goals? Dubravka.
It's a good show, potentially. Trying to think who else. Get the table up for myself here as well. Pickford, no.
Darren Randolph.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you're going from 9th, you have Palace, Arsenal, Burnley, Everton, Newcastle, Southampton, Brighton.
Nick Pope.
Okay,
Nick
hang
Pope.
on. Hang on, just let us finish the rest of the table. Brighton, Watford, West Ham, Bournemouth, Villa, and Norwich. Okay, so you're happy to go with Nick Pope in goals?
Yeah, I'd agree with that one.
That's good.
He's been top goalie this season for them as well. He's kept a lot of clean sheets as well. So yeah, definitely Nick Pope.
Okay, and if we're going right back, McLaren's? Norwich?
Good shout as well.
Or
Good
who
shout
are
as
we
well.
looking at? I think there's better players than Seamus around in Everton squad that could get in somewhere else in the team. Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Gomez, for example. Luca Dean.
Sorry, actually only picking one side from each team. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I think Aaron Jack. I don't think anyone Norwich player that could be standing out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You could put Tim Krul in there, but I don't think he's that good. Right. So
Centre half.
we've two centre halves to choose, don't we? So
David Luiz.
no.
Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, I was going to say Dunk or Duffy.
Well, Duffy doesn't play as much as so. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Yes.
we go for Dunk. Maybe no, not Watford. Oh, Crystal Palace. Do they have any decent centre backs?
Not centre back, but I know we're on centre back now. But their left back Van Aanholt is a good show.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, well, we'll throw him at left back,
Yeah.
will we?
I think so. He's very good.
Centre half, another centre half.
I'm
Tarkovsky
just
at
writing- I'm
Burnley,
just gonna-
maybe.
Oh, we have the keeper.
Yeah, Nick Pope. is it.
Keeper, yeah. Sorry.
I'm just writing the comment up so if people want to get involved in the comments with us. Someone said Michael Baran said a team of David Luiz is
Yeah, I agree.
I know if anyone's just joined us, we're picking one player from the clubs from 9th to 20th in the Premier League. We're trying to pick a squad of players. So far we have in goals Nick Pope at right back. We have Max Aarons at centre back. One centre back we've chosen. Who was that again?
Lewis Dunk.
Lewis Dunk at Brighton. So at the moment we're kind of trying to find, because West Ham Ogbonna.
But they have your man Issa Diop as well. He's been okay for them as well. He's probably been a bit better than Ogbonna, but I don't know, considering the position they're in. I know it's a bottom 9, but you could probably do better. Dale Stevens at Southampton, maybe.
He plays for Brighton.
Oh, there's
Jack Stevens.
Jack Stevens. Sorry, Jack Stevens. Yeah.
I haven't seen too much of him that would make me want to agree on that. What about Lascelles at Newcastle?
That's a good one.
I was just thinking him as well, but I wouldn't be mad at him. I was kind of thinking Sam Maximin is a player I really like, so I was thinking of him from a forward position.
Yeah.
But considering we are struggling for a centre back, I think we agree on Lascelles.
Yeah, agree on
No.
myself.
We'll go for Lascelles. Skilfy Sigurdsson's just on for Everton there. Half times, second half's kicking up now. Someone said Timo Lovren's Sacco. Same person. So let him have his little. Nathan.
Oh,
Ake.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Actually,
I think we'll take out
Oh,
Lascelles
yeah.
and put in Ake, will we?
yeah.
Yeah, we will. Yeah,
Very
Good
good.
I
shout,
don't think there's any
Mark.
other Bournemouth players to
Get him
jump
on
in.
the show. Mark, me.
We'll keep you around, Mark. Anyway, so just gonna leave that comment there so people know what we're talking about. So at the moment, we've got Pope in goal. We've got Aarons, Ake, Lewis Dunk, and Richarlison. Lewis Dunk, and then
Van
we were
Aanholt.
going Van Aanholt at the left side. Are we going to 4-3-3?
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay. So then, I mean, the clubs we have left are what? Southampton, Watford, Decore, I think should go in there for Watford in midfield.
Yeah.
Unless you want Delafeu or Dini.
No, Decore, definitely.
Okay. West Ham, Mark Noble, Aston Villa, Jack Grealish.
I suppose Grealish, to be fair, yeah.
I wouldn't be putting him in.
Milivojevic as well, Crystal Palace.
We
We already have
Palace.
Van Aanholt.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
We have Andre Gomez,
Good show.
or else you're gonna go with probably Richarlison.
We'll maybe take Noble out for Andre Gomez, or maybe
I didn't actually put Noble in. That was a joke.
Oh, right. He's actually not a bad player, to be fair.
If you
And
want,
ever present.
do you want Andre Gomez in there? Like you have to have a debate on it. Like it's up to you.
Yeah, I'd go for Andre Gomez because he's a tidy footballer, whereas Decore could kind of be more defensive option.
Okay. So Jack, are you in agreement on that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. He's very good. Couldn't argue.
So what clubs have we got left? Southampton.
We have Newcastle left, don't we? As well.
No. Oh
No,
yeah, because we've
listen,
got
lads.
Lascelles.
We swatched out Lascelles.
Obviously,
Um,
Arsenal, the Aubameyang is going to take.
Shelby.
I was thinking Sam Maxime because he's been unbelievable on the wing. Not just
Yeah,
tonight now, but the
He's
last
had
day
like
as well.
one game.
Yeah, I suppose.
He
Yeah,
hasn't been consistent over the season. Like,
Shelby is Newcastle's top scorer this term as well. Yeah.
Mark Meehan goes, can't be having Grealish in, lads. This is Irish football fan TV. I know, Mark. I know. That's why I said that can't be having him. But we do have Villa still in there. And we have to find a position. I think centre mid is probably the only position that we, because they don't have any good strikers
Yeah.
or wingers. Although El Ghazi's alright, isn't he?
Nathan Redmond.
Look, David Power goes McGinn. What a man, David Power.
Yeah,
I
there we
think
go.
that's nailed on there.
Good
man,
shout,
David
yeah.
Power. This is
Yeah.
what I love when people are in the comments and they can give you ideas that you just forget, and afterwards you're going, "Oh no! Like how did I not remember that one?" So it's great because I actually Mark had just put it in just before him, so I didn't realize that. So he'll be.
Nice.
I'm sure he'll be in with the comments telling me that I didn't put it in there. Right, so we're what the 3 strikers. We've got 2 kind of wide men, and I think we've agreed on Aubameyang as
Yeah.
the centre forward in that.
What
See,
clubs have we left?
You could change that. Do we have still have Southampton?
We do.
Yeah, well, see, you could
So
put
what-
Aubameyang out on the wing and put Danny Ings up front.
Okay, so we put Aubameyang on the left.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it-
left.
Yeah, Mark, it's one from each team. So we put Aubameyang on the left, and you have we'll put Aubameyang on the right. We'll put Saint Maxime on the left, and then we'll put Ings up top.
Yeah.
Is
Good
that-
team.
Seems good.
I think that's a good team. So we'll run through it. So we have Pope in goal, Max Aarons, Nathan Ake, Lewis Dunk, referee, fell on Coleman. Lewis Dunk, Van Aanholt at left back, and then in midfield we've got McGinn, Andre Gomez. I'm gonna put the little comment there so people know what we're talking about. Andre Gomez, and who was the other player that we had in midfield?
Decore.
At Watford, and then up front you had a trio of Saint Maxime at Newcastle, Danny Ings, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Did I say that correct?
You did.
Of course.
Happy days. So that's the best 11 in the Premier League from 9 downwards, 1 from each team for us. Let us know what you think of that team. How are the games looking at the moment? Yeah, Seamus Coleman looks so tired here.
Just second half just started Old Trafford. Sheffield United made a double substitution at half time. Sanderberg and Oliver McBurney came on, and Oliver Norwood and Mousse have came off. But it's interesting as well, they can still make there are 3 more substitution intervals, because even if you make a substitution at half time, it doesn't count as one of your 3 substitution intervals. So that would be possibly useful information for Sheffield United going forward. But 3 minutes second half, apart from that double substitution at half time, not much has happened except Manchester United again having most of the ball.
Yeah. See, Mark Meehan there again commenting. He says, surprise Luke Dean or Richarlison isn't in for Everton. But again, it comes down to balance, and we're trying to be realistic as possible, picking one player from each team. And I think we found a really good balance there, to be fair, in the short time span with the help of the comments as well. In that short time spell, I think we found a really good balance in that team. I think that team would be going for top 6 or something.
Well, there's 2 of the 3 top goal scorers in the Premier League this season.
What's that?
He has 2 of the top 3 goal scorers in the Premier League this season: Danny Ings and Aubameyang.
Yeah. 16 goals, Danny Ings. I think Aubameyang has 17 as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
2 goal scorers there. Anyway,
Andre Gomes was an absolute pearl of a ball there, just as we said it. Go on, Bernard. Go on. No. Just got tackled in the box. Yeah, Everton look very, very leggy here. It's hard to watch. It's like watching a pre-season friendly, being honest with you. It's that kind of pace, really slow. I think whoever gets the first goal. I actually think Norwich could Everton are pretty much in the ascendancy here, but they're just giving the ball away to Norwich the whole time. Like I actually wouldn't be surprised if Norwich won this game. I still think
Yeah.
Norwich are going down, by the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won this game.
Yeah, I think one thing with the break, it has opened it up to the. I don't like saying the poorer teams, but you know what I said, the underdog. Like, you know, it has opened it up because the better teams, you know, they can be vulnerable with fitness and stuff. And if these lower league or lower table teams have been working on their fitness and, you know, have stayed working hard throughout the lockdown, there's definitely an opportunity for them to steal results. And I think, you know, it just makes it makes games less predictable, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you think, but
Who wants to answer that, lads?
Yeah, true. I mean, it's obviously like you can see like even one team who's come back very well is Man City, but the rest of them all seem to be a bit jaded. It's tough for them as well. Like they had less time in comparison to the other leagues. They only had about 3 or 4 weeks. Whereas you look at like even Spain and Italy coming back, like some of the games are very high scoring. You're getting 4 and 5 goals per game in most of them. Obviously it's not all about goals, but it's just a faster pace as well. And when there's more goals, there's obviously more going on as well. It's just there's a lot of tension. There's still a lot to play for as well. But even looking at Wolves here, once they start getting a Adama Traore into the game, Bournemouth, they're struggling massively. They can't keep up with him. So a lot of their play comes down to him due to the fitness and the speed of him as well.
Chair, anything to add?
Yeah, I think definitely agree with that. Like I've noticed pretty much every first half of every game except for Tottenham and United and Aston Villa and Chelsea on Sunday, I've been quite really slow to get going. I think like the first half there's been barely any goals in any game. And like I said, it does kind of seem to just open it up a little bit more for teams like you seen with Aston Villa, prime example of that. Like, you know, the lead against run and play against Chelsea, where maybe that game was played last March, like that mightn't have necessarily happened. But it is something like the fact the games are coming thick and fast. You know, games every 3 or 4 days now. After this, some teams got FA Cup the weekend. I think that won't become much of an issue. Like I think in a week or two time, we should be seeing games as we would normally see at the start of the season, a little bit more up to fitness and, you know, hopefully slow encounters. Like, cause again, like prime example, year 3 games, not a goal in the first half. Hopefully they'll become few and far between.
Yeah, well, something I kind of want to move on to now is obviously goal, Michael Keane. Get in there.
nice one.
Very subdued, Paul. Very subdued.
I seen it late actually because I was trying to share something on my phone.
Just interesting on the Liverpool team news. Nico Williams is actually starting tonight. And
Right, here's the goal from a corner, whipped in, Luca Dean, and yeah, it's just a good header. But Michael Keane, that should be his bread and butter as a centre back, scoring those type of goals. So 1-0 Everton, and it's in the 55th minute, so still a lot of time left in the game. Sorry, Jer.
Yeah,
In the middle of saying
just
something?
saying there, Liverpool team news, just looking at it here, it's very interesting. Nico Williams is starting at right back. Obviously, Robinson is still out injured, but Trent is going to move to left side of midfield. No surprise as well, Salah has come in, Minamino has dropped out. He still looks like he's struggling to get to the pace of the Premier League. I think we always kind of knew he was signed for next season. Still judging from what we've seen on Sunday. So it will be interesting to see how the young kid does right back. Big game to be thrown into, obviously, because Liverpool really want to get the win and get as close as possible as that points tally instead of just hauling towards it. But he did look promising in cup games. He was excellent in that FA Cup
Sorry
game.
for that, Jer.
You're grand. I understand the passion's importance of Everton scoring. But yeah, like he was very good in that game against Everton in the FA Cup. So it'd be good to see, because that was one thing that obviously just go back to the Redmond TV. I watched a lot of them. I was big fans of them. But they were interested. They didn't actually expect many youngsters to play the remainder of the season. They were kind of saying like they're not up to the mentality that Klopp wants, regardless of what the situation is. That like they're not going to play them. But obviously maybe Neco Williams has shown in training that he is up to that mentality and he has shown that maturity that he's ready to start a Premier League game and hopefully it works out for him, because I'm not 100% sure. Maybe someone might let me know in the comments, but I think he's a homegrown lad as well, which is very good to see, because that's something Liverpool I think have lost out in the last while is a lot of local lads playing for the team.
All right, well, obviously that Liverpool team beat Everton in the FA Cup. Seamus Coleman here, I think At this point, I think he should be subbed off because he just looks very leggy. Mark Meehan was slagging me there, saying Everton don't score much. You expect more of a celebration. I seen it late. I seen it after we celebrated. I put my head down for a second because I am still controlling this here, trying to click in and out of the lad's face. So I'm trying to multitask here while watching the game and obviously keep things updated. Go on, Calvert-Lewin. Oh, give it. He hits straight at the keeper who parries it over the bar for a corner. Might get a goal from the corner, but that's the only reason why I've been distracted there, Mark. My apologies. But he said that we should do the same for the top 11 teams in the Premier League. Now, that would be tough. So I'll give you a list of the top. Are we going with so Liverpool, City, Leicester, Chelsea, Manchester United, Wolves, Spurs, Sheffield United, Palace, Arsenal, Burnley. One from each team. Or if you didn't want to do the top 11, you could pick one player from 11 clubs, if that makes sense.
I think we'll do top 11.
Okay. Well, I'll run through. So think while I'm going through the names of the clubs: Liverpool, City, Leicester City, Chelsea, Manchester United, Wolves, Spurs, Sheffield United, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Burnley. So Liverpool, who would be your player?
For me, I think Van Dijk. Personally, I know we have the attacking options with the three lads up front, but I think if you have an option for Van Dijk, you have to put it in.
Yeah, but then you take away the attacking prowess of like Mane, who I think should.
You have other attackers in the top 11, sure. Like you could pick I
think Mane is the heartbeat of that Liverpool team, in my opinion. I don't know what you think, Jack, because you obviously support them, but I just think Mane is different level, especially this season. I don't think Liverpool will be where they are without him. You can say whatever you want about going the other way, and I know till Van Dijk came in, they didn't really show up the defence till then. But I still think Mane, like he just strikes fear into every single player he plays against. Every one of those players I did podcasts with over the quarantine, best player they played against, Mane, every time. So
yeah, it's true.
What do you think about that, Jer? Like Mane, if you're picking an 11, like if you're picking a player of the season for Liverpool this year, don't tell me Jordan Henderson. It's gotta have to be Mane or Van Dijk. Am I right or wrong?
Can we move on to someone else's view?
So what?
Can we move on to someone else's view if you don't think it's one of them two? So I think Mane definitely from an attacking point of view has been the standout of the three players this season, but I still think like from a player of the season point of view, it's hard to overlook Henderson. I think Trent as well has been exceptional this season as well. It's like the Mane Van Dijk's argument around about theirs, and you have to just pick one player from Liverpool to put into a team. Like really, when I was just listening to you, I was thinking like I'm literally sitting on the fence here with this one because, like I agree with you. Like Mane has been different brave this season. He's really kind of carried the attack. I wouldn't say carried the attack, but like he's kind of stood up maybe a little bit more when Salah's been off form.
Will you think of late goals and something like that, Jerry? How many late goals has Mane got?
I think back to that. The one game, if you could even call it such thing as a turning point in Liverpool's season, but the Aston Villa game away, when we were losing 1-0, and it looked like suddenly City were going to be within 6 points of us, and then they were coming to Anfield a week later. We dug that game out in injury time, and Mane was the heartbeat that he put the cross in for Robinson to get the equaliser, and then he popped up with a winning goal himself. Like as you mentioned, just situations like that. But Van Dijk, like I think he's the team person who's kind of transformed Liverpool, but has helped take them to another level because for a couple of years on the clock, we knew well we were very, very good and excited going forward, but we were so leaky at the back. That changed after Van Dijk came in, obviously even more than with Alisson. And as I said to Paul on Saturday when we were doing the watch along for the Wolves match, like he's improved players around him. Like Matip has improved as a defender. Robinson, from defensive side point of view, for me, has improved from when he was in his first season at Liverpool. Trent, I still think definitely can improve defensively. Like so. I probably would actually, now that I'm talking about myself and I've had time to think about it as I'm talking away, I probably would pick Van Dijk purely just because I think there's a lack of quality centre backs in the Premier League. compared to attackers where like you could literally have attackers and you run out of toes and fingers to count them.
Okay. Well, I just want to put it this way, lads, because we're probably going to be a while doing this. You got to think as well, the other club, the lesser clubs with the players that aren't as good. You know, would you have a John Egan say at centre back? Do you know what I mean? Or would like whether it's Irish bias or not, you're not going to have a Sheffield United striker there. You could possibly
You'd
have.
probably pick Dean Henderson for Sheffield United.
Well, this is another thing I was thinking of because you could also have Allison there.
Oh, goal, 1-0 Wolves.
Oh,
Same.
Cammy hit us with the goal update.
Exactly the same as Saturday. Adama Traore with a cross from the right hand side, and Raul Jimenez puts away his 15th goal of the season. Super cross from Traore. I was saying he was starting to get into it, and it's paid off. Raul Jimenez gets the goal, 1-0 to the fourth place Chasers.
Oh, nice. Well, I suppose if you're looking at, so it's just you can go Ederson. Well, I think if you take any of the top 4 players, or top 4 clubs, the minute, or even 5 if you include United in that, I think if you take their keeper, you're taking away one of their better players somewhere else that you might want to put into this best 11. And I think if you're going, you could go Nick Pope again.
Just going to
Cabernet.
say that actually. Yeah.
I think I was just going to say there, Dean Henderson from Sheffield United. He's been very
I
good.
was thinking that.
Okay, so the 4 of us have been thinking. So we're going to go with Henderson. So keeper's done, and that's done good. Right back. And this is tough because you've got Alexander Arnold, you've got Kyle Walker, you've got Pereira, Leicester. Who have you got at Chelsea?
Wan-Bissaka.
You've got Wan-Bissaka United, Matt Doherty,
James Coleman.
Aurier. No, Coleman's not in the top 11.
Aurier. I know he's their right back, but
Baldock.
can we only pick one player, or can we pick a few from different teams?
No,
On-
one player per club. It makes it harder.
Right, okay.
I'd go for Wan-Bissaka.
No, you think of Bruno Fernandes and these types of players. He wouldn't be my show. I'd probably go for I would probably go Pereira, Leicester.
It's a good show.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's a good show. I think him or Doherty, maybe. I mean, the two of them.
Yeah, but I think when we get to midfield, I think you'd be doing
Wolves,
well
yeah.
overlooking Neves.
Yeah, Moutinho as well.
No, I was nearly scored. Was deflected boy for corner. I was thinking Neves, but at the same time, if you're thinking strikers, well, I said earlier about players talking about Mane being amazing. They also said that Jimenez was unbelievable as well. So then you're kind of going. So if you pick a Wolves player, it's just difficult then. If you're going for the balance again, I think with Leicester, I think you can get better players around other teams. Other than like at right back, I think Pereira is a solid show and would do a bit of a job. Tim Cliff says, "Well, boys, how are you, Tim? All good."
Well, that's one for Jared. That is.
That's what I was gonna say. But it's also one for Jack as well.
Yeah,
Just
the
just
sticks.
obviously here up here on my screen, Sky Sports News, they have to bring in the teams from Anfield, and they have that Robinson is starting. So I don't know who to believe, Sky Sports or the Liverpool Echo, where I had that they had that Williams was starting. Now maybe that was just their prediction for an 11. So, and Dave McGoldrick's wait for a Premier League goal will have to continue because he has just been subbed off.
Mark Meehan is very sharp tonight. He's after saying exactly the same thing as you there.
Yeah, I must have just clicked on an article saying they're predicted to them. So apologies for my false information there to all our listeners.
Lawyer.
Propaganda.
Okay, so we've got our goalie and our right back. So now we're on to centre back. So we'll stay with full backs, and then you've got Robertson, who was starting tonight for Liverpool. What's his name? Mendy, Then you've got who plays left full for. You could have Reece
Chilwell,
Jones as well.
Chilwell.
Chilwell. Well, we've got Pereira.
Well, we've gone. Yeah, true. Sorry.
Like otherwise
In the
Chilwell.
season, in the season. Yeah.
We've got keeper.
Luca Dean.
Everton aren't in the top 11. How many times does it tell you? You're just saying to
Thought they
wind me
were.
up now.
No, they're actually 12th.
All right.
Yeah,
Apologies.
Burnley are ahead of them. Now I thought you were just doing it to rub salt in the wounds.
No, I'm not that bad. Come on.
Left back, you can go Van Aanholt again.
It's a good shout. Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think so.
Palace are going to get in anywhere else that I can think of.
Mm.
No.
Yeah, and he's a decent player.
Yeah, he's very good.
I think he's probably Well, you could get Zaha, but I think there's better attacking options.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, Zaha has been poor this season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Van Aanholt at left back. Then we're going centre backs. Again, you're looking around.
Then me. Have to fish a Birmingham player somewhere.
Tarkovsky's better, is he not?
Me and Tarkovsky. Yeah, me
Yeah,
just be very quiet in the games.
Tarkovsky
Whereas
might be
Tarkovsky, you hear more about him.
I think I would go more so Tarkovsky as a centre back, because we obviously have to pick a Burnley player, and just kind of picking the lesser clubs now to try and focus more on having an absolutely unbelievable attack. So I wouldn't be against picking Tarkovsky, and then Harry Maguire. Nah, shy.
Yeah.
Pick,
Dav-
like I know we want Spurs, Harry Kane, and obviously we want him, Son as well. But like Alderweireld is very good as well.
What about what's his name? Socrates.
Oh yeah. Papastatopoulos.
Would you
What a
have
bloke.
him, or would you want to keep that?
I
position
wouldn't
there?
have any of them. I wouldn't have any of them in the back. Aubameyang definitely.
Okay, well that's about from an Arsenal fan, so I think we'll go with who was the player we just said before that? Toby.
And Tarkovsky.
No, Toby. I think your man what's his name? Davinson Sanchez.
Mm.
I think he's gonna be,
Yeah.
I think he's better than Alderweireld now, just because he's younger and quicker. I still think Toby's good, but I just don't think he's the player he was. I think I'd probably put, if I was choosing now, I'd probably go with Sanchez.
Yeah, he's played more games this season
Feel
as well.
free to argue with me, like.
Yeah, not like he's okay, but like he's just not fantastic, you know. Like I'd even say Tarkovsky is just a bit more solid than him in a way, you know. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Obviously, you want to include other players as well.
All right, lads, who would you choose? Timu Puki's just come on from Norwich.
I'd still go, given the fact that we're going to be very spoiled for choice going forward for attackers, and I think we could do with a real quality, solid rock of a centre back in there. I still don't think you can overlook Van Dijk. Like, if you want about balance for a team, like you have to have that balance in defence, have the best player, best defender in the Premier League. Because you could arguably say that do Liverpool have the best three attackers in the Premier League? Probably not. So you can still get three better quality attackers.
Okay.
Like,
I'll go for it. I don't want to go for it. I'll go for it so we can speed it up.
Yeah, go on, Van Dijk. You've swayed.
Oh,
we're not going to get it all our own way.
he's only just on. Dwight Gale.
What happened?
1-0
scored.
Newcastle. 1-0 Newcastle. Dwight Gale literally just came on as well as Andy Carroll and he scored. It's 1-0.
Talk to the goal.
I'm just seeing it back here. I literally saw when he picked up the ball around the 6-yard box. They're still celebrating. I'll give you a run through it now in a sec.
Well, we're going to
yeah.
continue on. So at the moment, are you happy to go with Van Dijk as the central central
Andy.
back partner of Tarkovsky? Now, if anyone's wondering what we're doing at the moment, we are choosing a top 11 in the Premier League. We're picking one player from each team. So far, we have Dean Henderson at Sheffield United. At right back, we have Pereira at Leicester. Then we have Van Dijk, I think we're going for now. I thought that was it for Norwich.
Can I go back on the goal there? Just a sec.
Yeah.
Just to give you a run through. Troan came in, and of all men to be down the wing, it was Andy Carroll, a man you think should be in the centre. He picked up the ball on the wing. It was a low-driven cross, picked up by Dwight Gale, fought off the defender, and just managed to knock it past the keeper into the far corner. Conor Horan is now on as well, and so Villa seem to be going for it.
They need it.
Newcastle did bring on the two strikers, but Horan is on for Villa, and they're launching a few balls forward now, trying to make something of it. El Ghazi and Trezeguet are gone off, so hopefully they can salvage something from it. But it was a very well worked goal. Two men, they came on about 5 minutes ago, I'd say, and they created the goal between them, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, well, just to go back, so the team we had chosen, it was in goal, Dean Henderson at right back. It was Pereira. Then you had Van Dijk, Tarkowski, and Van Aanholt. And now we're moving into midfield. And the clubs we have left are great touch, Calvert-Lewin. The clubs we have left are Wolves, Manchester United, Manchester City,
Chelsea.
Spurs, Chelsea, and Arsenal. So
Yes.
Mason Mount, sorry,
And in midfield,
as well.
I put Kante ahead of him.
Yeah,
Okay,
Kante.
can't argue with that. So then
Um,
Neves,
Yeah.
Neves. Yeah,
okay,
And
and then
you mentioned the
I presume we're going 4-3-3 again.
it's the in thing,
Yeah.
It is.
and then
you mentioned
you've got
Bruno
Pogba.
Fernandes earlier,
Yeah,
or
Pogba,
sorry,
Bruno.
Pogba, whichever one.
I go Bruno Fernandes. I think
I go
he's
Fernandes based on the season as well.
yeah. Oh, actually, before we jump in there, Kevin De Bruyne. But this goes back to balance again, and I think if you could maybe have Rashford on the left, and that would counteract Bruno and have Kevin De Bruyne in there, but you're leaving out Sterling, and Aguero, which I don't think they've been amazing this season either.
but
Sterling.
Aguero's Aguero. I mean, he's on his day. He's just the best striker in the league. That's it. No argument. So, I mean, to leave him out is a tough one. But De Bruyne is the best midfielder in the league as well. So,
All right.
He's arguably been the
this is gonna
best
be
player in the league this season.
What?
He's arguably been De Bruyne arguably been the best player in the league as well this season.
yeah, I think he has been.
So how do you leave out the best? But this is what I mean about goes into balance.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard. I want to put De Bruyne in that team.
Same.
I
Same.
think
I think if it
I think he could pick a good team to play around him either way.
I think if we're going based on this season, you'd have to have De Bruyne ahead of Aguero.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright. So
yeah.
Thanks for that, Kevin Tracy. He's a KDB. So we Neves, Kante, and Kevin De Bruyne. They would allow De Bruyne to play then. And then if you're going up front, I think Aubameyang has to get in there for
Yeah.
Arsenal. And then we have Spurs and Man United, is it? Harry Kane and Rashford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hard to argue with that. Yeah,
That's a serious team.
definitely.
I'd love to see them in action. I'd love
So
to see
let's-
just
let's
a
just-
game
let's
or
just run-
two.
Let's just run through again one more time for anyone who's just joined us. So we will pick one player from each club to play in the top 11. So to make an 11, 3-0 United. Someone said there, Tim Clough.
Oh,
Cliff.
Yeah. Hat-trick from Martial and another assist for Rashford. Lovely little ball from
Well, now
Rashford.
Paul Merson.
Leaves Martial 1-on-1 and dinks it over Simon Moore, who I don't think will be replacing Dean Henderson on a regular basis. But second half, Man United have had all the chances. Sheffield United, they've looked more dangerous, really. The all counter-attack set pieces, it's been very, very comfortable. You begin to worry for Sheffield United, just starting to fall away small. But yeah, lovely little back heel as well in the build-up from Bruno Fernandes. Martial, that's who we picked back heel onto. Links up with Rashford. Them two have linked up brilliantly tonight. Really exciting from a United point of view. And like I said, Rashford just plays it into the space. One little touch to compose himself and then just dinks it over Simon Moore. And that is now definitely well and truly game set match. 15 minutes left at Old Trafford. Man United 3, Sheffield United 0. Back yourself up.
Do you have a job at Sky Sports yet? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's okay. I think. Oh well.
I thought you were
send
saying,
it.
oh no, that you won't have a job at Sky Sports.
Oh,
No, you
oh,
would.
very close.
Holgate and Pickford are after clashing now as well.
Conor Horan just whipped in a free kick there from came straight across the box. No one wanted to go for it. Was it? Mings missed it and it deflected out. Oh, that was very close.
Interestingly, here Wolves have just taken off Traore, so I think Bournemouth have got a bit more confidence now because they don't have to worry about him going forward. Obviously, there's other lads playing for Wolves as well, but a bit less of a threat there on that right wing. They can try and get the ball down and play themselves now.
So I think that's something that you think about, like Traore. The fact that himself and Doherty can play together.
It's just
To
But
prove
for
that Coleman and Doherty can play together.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit mad, like, isn't it? Well, I suppose it's a reverse way around, isn't it? Because Doherty has to kind of hold back a little bit more. He's not the one that's beaten Traore. Adam Ida is actually about to come on here for Norwich.
Sweet.
Just 12 minutes to go. He's about to come on now. So himself and number 8, I can't make out his name at the minute, but
Vrancic, I think his name is.
okay. Well,
Oh,
Hernandez, who was given Seamus Coleman an awful time on the left hand side, is off, and Adam Ida, who looks like he needs a haircut, is on now. I'll be interested to see what position he plays. Will he play on that wing side, or will he be playing up top? Because obviously Pukki's on at the minute. Looks like he doesn't look like he's playing up front, so I think he's going to be used on the wing up against Seamus Coleman, which will be interesting. Yeah, he's kind of on the left. So that'll be an interesting battle to see for the next 10 minutes. Will he get the better of the Irish captain? And again, that's something that could be interesting. You know, if he does well tonight, will Stephen Kenny be looking at that? So it'll be interesting now to see how that kind of plays out. But hopefully Coleman gets the better of him for my sake.
definitely, yeah. And it just brings back, like we were saying the other night, the impact that Seamus Coleman has on players. Like we were saying, how he's the ideal professional. He gives money to charity. He's an inspiration. He's been so important for Everton and for Ireland. And to see him come up against the likes of Adam Ida there, he's Seamus Coleman's the fella who'd be pushing him on most of the time for Ireland. He'll be motivating him, and to come up against him now, I think it just shows where Irish football has come to in the last few months, few years, I suppose you could say. To think that in the Premier League you've two big Ireland stars facing off against each other. I don't know what you think of that, but I think it's great to see.
Sure.
It's a bit premature to say 2 stars yet, but hopefully star in the making.
Yeah.
But no, it is definitely encouraging. Like lots of young Irish players are coming up through the Premier League. Obviously, Ida, Aaron Connolly's played a lot for Brighton this season. Troy Parrott's got a couple of minutes for Spurs. It's a issue. Obviously, he probably would have played a bit more in this one for his appendix gave up on him a couple of months too soon. And then obviously, like Jason Malumbi as well as on loan with Brighton Championship, who would be confident that would be in the Brighton setup next year. So yeah, it is encouraging a lot more from that side anyway.
Paul?
Yeah, I definitely. Oh, sorry. Chance for Wolves there cleared off the line by Ramsdale. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you see the form they've put in for the 21s as well, Ida and Malumbi in particular. They definitely deserve a chance for these teams, and they definitely slot into if they did go out on loan as well, they'd slot into a championship team that would be going for promotion as well. So these guys are going to get their chance sooner rather than later, I'd say.
It's mad. Like it's how Ida gets no recognition whatsoever. Playing obviously with Norwich. I know he's played here and there. He's on the ball currently at the moment. Hasn't done anything since he's been on just yet. But he hasn't lost the ball, put it that way. But it's mad how he doesn't get any of the hype that Troy Parrott gets. Like Troy Parrott's literally he hasn't done anything in terms of first team stuff. Like he's never came near to score. Did he hit the post? That was a pre-season friendly game. He's never looked like scoring in a Premier League game. starting or whatever. So I don't really see what the hype is. And you see players like Connolly, Obafemi, and Ida playing for Premier League clubs. I was going to say he's doing well, but obviously Ida hasn't played that much. He scored a hat-trick against Preston in the FA Cup, but that wasn't Preston's first team either. But I didn't even mean to do that actually either. But it's just mad how he just doesn't get any recognition at all.
Like them players that you just name checked as well, like they're ahead of Paris in terms of development.
Definitely.
Like, as you mentioned, they're older as well. Like you could even say, it was a little bit like disrespectful from a point of view that Mick McCarthy gave Troy Parrott a full senior debut ahead of some of them players. Like Parrott hadn't even played a senior game for Spurs yet at that stage. Like I think like a lot of the talk around Parrott as well, like it's unhealthy. Like a lot of my friends like saying, "Oh, he's the future," and this, that, and the other. I'm like, but there's lads playing in the Premier League that are ahead of him just yet. Like, and I don't like this crack of just talking up too much young lads. I know it's coming away from football a bit, but I see a lot, like obviously from the big into GA, and like a lot of players don't end up living up to it. And just be careful and wary of that as well with a lot of these young Irish players too.
Well, this is it. A lot of people think, as Gavin WA there says, he thinks that Ida he'd have more hope for. I think Ida would probably benefit next season. I said this to Jack the other night. I think he'd benefit if Norwich go down. I think he'd play more. He'd be more trusted as the main man, and I think that's what he needs. I think you never really hear of him. You don't see him, sharing loads of stuff on social media all the time, and Calvert-Lewin straight at the keeper. You don't really hear him. I think he's kind of similar to Seamus Coleman. He's a bit of a model pro, for a young lad. He doesn't get himself any bother. You never really hear of him. I think that might be a thing that goes against him as well. The fact that you don't really hear him. Obviously, you'd hear stuff about Parrott being in trouble and this and that. Whereas Ida kind of keeps his head down, works hard. But I'd like to see him on a scoring run. I think he'll start getting the recognition then. He's obviously got the ability. He's unbelievable feat for a big man. Scores all types of goals, headers. He can run with the ball very fast. I said it the other night, he's a bit like Lukaku in terms of when he runs with the ball. He's power, pacey. He a lot of defenders I don't think would like to see him run out. I mean, we've seen him like with the under 21s. Like I remember that. Do you remember that little piece of skill he did? And Conor Rowan has his hand on his head. Like couldn't believe he did it. He did like an elastic out and set up a chance with it for a corner in the end. But he just does little things in games, and you're looking at him going, "This fella looks like a right player."
Yeah. Just actually a question for yourself, Jack, because Adam Might, obviously from Cork City, same part of the country as yourself. What's kind of like, I suppose, first and foremost, would you come across him much when you're younger, and kind of what was the much talk about him? And what kind of is like the feeling down among people in Cork? They feel like he could really be the next big football superstar to come from the city and the county.
Cork,
Well,
right?
yeah. To be honest with you, I haven't heard a lot of talk about him. I suppose being from Cork and hearing other Cork people talking about him. Oh, sorry, it's 1-1. Villa just equalised. Conor Howerton with the corner, and is it El Mohammadi got a header on it, and it just slipped under Dubravka, as far as I can see.
Conor Howerton assist.
Yeah, I'll confirm it there. But El Mohammadi with the header, it just slipped under. Yeah, Howerton, El Mohammadi in front of the near post, howler from the keeper. He should have got more on it, but it just slipped under his hands. Oh, he saw it late. John Joe Shelby was in front of him. Shelby put his foot to the ball, and the keeper missed it. But it was definitely El Mohammadi goal.
I'm just looking here.
Yeah, it's what.
It's coming on the field here. What a glorious man.
So, sorry, George, to go back to what you're asking me there. I suppose Cork people are a bit biased in a way, I suppose, saying that, Ida has the most potential. But genuinely speaking, from completely neutral, I think he has the most potential. I would agree with what Gavin said there earlier about him having more than... I definitely think he has more than Parrott. Connolly is promising as well. I'm very excited to see how Connolly gets on in the next while. But Ida has shown what he can do. He's not afraid to take on men. As Paul said, he'd run at defenders. He's not afraid. He scores all types of goals.
He's holding the ball up here against Seamus Coleman to win the throw.
Yeah. How is he doing so far? Is he kind of keeping it going?
He looks like he's bullying Seamus a little bit. Seamus not taking anything from it though. He's not, even though he's Irish, he's not giving him an inch either. It's a good little battle. It's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you
I mean
know.
to cut you off there. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're grand out altogether. Just like, I wouldn't have heard a lot about Ida, to be honest. Usually around Cork, like what I hear is the hype about, just all these young lads coming through. There's no one that gets in particular, attention. But I certainly think that Ida is the best of the young players coming through from what I've seen. I think that there's been too much talk about Parrott. He's expected to be. We said it the other night as well, how it was kind of Mick gave into the fans in a way. He almost bought into the same hype that a lot of the fans did, Like maybe, I don't know what he expected from him in the New Zealand game, but I was disappointed with him. I was expecting to see a lot more from him. Ida might have been more deserving of the call-up than Troy Parrott. As you know, I know Aaron Connolly got his chance, but it's only a matter of time before Ida does get the call-up, and I'm sure he'll be willing to, make the most of it. I think he will. I think he'll make his way into that team. And Stephen Kenny said how he will use these young players to play off David McGoldrick, an influential player, a man who can hold up play going forward. And I think the likes of Ida is perfect for that. McGoldrick holding ball, can play ball to Ida on the wing or going forward. And I think we could have a very strong attack over the next few years, using players like McGoldrick. He can be a mentor for these young players, particularly Ida, Connolly, their incredible pace. I think it's very exciting times, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny though, isn't it? Because he's the one that gets the least amount of. Why is Duncan Ferguson raising the board of who's coming on, who isn't? And he's like turning it around. I've never seen like a coach do it. That's crazy.
Duncan Ferguson does what he wants, Paul.
Yeah, he does. But he's like the fourth official there. It's mad. I don't know what he's doing. It just looks funny, and he's there arguing with the fourth official now. I think he got the number wrong.
Brilliant.
Oh well. Sorry. Well, where were we there?
You were just saying how he gets the least amount of talk, how Ida gets the least amount of talk, yet he's one of the most promising.
Until Duncan Ferguson distracted me as the fourth official. Yeah. No, it was. I just think that's mad because, as I said, he's the least talked about. But as you said there, he's probably the one that probably excites you the most. But I think Mick was looking at the handball. Oh, Ida. He's just a win in the corner. He took the ball on his chest. It looked like a handball. And do you remember like Drogba turned and spun against Carragher that time? It was kind of like that, but he hit it off the defender and it went out for a corner. Corners come in now. Michael Keane wins it, who's after just been given man of the match there. It's gone out for another corner. Norwich are kind of piling it on here. In the 90th minute, the 6 minutes added time, but another corner's coming in now. Wobie's just gone off there, and Anthony Gordon's came on. Moise Keane is dribbling out from his own half, and Alameda comes over and smashes him. And then he gets tackled by Andre Gomez. He tried to step over and got tackled by Andre Gomez. So Everton are on the attack now. Sorry, I just think that it's crazy. Like obviously Connolly scored them 2 goals against. That was a foul, ref. Yeah, foul on the edge of the box for Everton. Good position here. I just think that's fair enough with Connolly getting the credit he deserves. That's very good. But I think either he hasn't played that much for Norwich. I know he started at Old Trafford or whatever. But I am interested to see how he got on with a run of games. I think Connolly, in a way, was blessed as well because the Spurs team he faced was kind of all over the place at the time. And I think Lloris had just got injured and Gazzaniga came on. Or did the keeper get injured when Connolly scored the goal?
Yeah, the first goal, Lloris got injured, yeah.
I don't think it was Connolly's goal. I think it was the first goal Brighton scored in the game.
Well, he scored the first goal, I think.
I thought I got the second and third goal. It doesn't matter anyway.
Maybe.
I think an interesting point to make on Troy Parrott is as well, it's because he's playing for a bigger club as well. No disrespect to the smaller clubs, but you look at Spurs over the last few years, they've been doing, obviously the Champions League final, they've been doing very well, getting into the Champions League as well. So, I mean, I think people think if he gets a chance there, he's going to be fantastic, and that does play a part as well.
Yeah, no, I think Mick's been to the under-21, seeing what he could do, and was impressed by him, and he was obviously impressed by Leo Connor as well. So I don't think he was going off the Spurs reputation or the UEFA Youth League. I think he was in attendance at games. I'd seen him at games as well. I'm sure he'd have been told, but he had Terry Connor going out and watching games at the UEFA Youth League as well, which I don't think he really should have been doing. He should have been maybe focusing on someone who, somewhere else that could yeah, or someone who'd be beneficial to the campaign. Could have made a difference against Denmark, because we can hope all we want, and maybe Troy was playing without fear, but I think we really missed Connolly. Oh, well done, Calvert-Lewin, won a foul. I think we could have really done with Connolly against Denmark. I know he's injured for that little spell. For the game, he played the game against Switzerland, didn't he? And then we played Denmark and New Zealand, and Troy was all the talk. It was all talk about Jack Byrne and Troy Parrott being the boys from town playing for Ireland, which was great. I just wanted to see Connolly. I thought against that Denmark team, it was there from. I think someone just said in the comments there. Let's not forget Callum Robinson. I think Callum Robinson has a lot of improving to do. He needs to find a position for Ireland. There's lots of things that he needs to do for next season. I think he needs to find himself as well, because he looks like a lost boy for Sheffield United this season. He started the season well, and then you never heard of him again. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a good loan move from him as well, going to West Brom, a team doing well in the Championship, like he did himself with Preston as well. So, no, nothing. Neves tried a shot. Keeper made a mistake. Oh no, it was Dendoncker. Mistake. Gave it back to Dendoncker on the halfway line. Tried to chip the keeper, but nothing came of it. I think with Robinson, I think at the minute that's probably the level he's suited at. And if West Brom go up, they might consider signing him, because he's been involved ever since he went there. He's played a lot of matches. Obviously, we had the break as well, but he's played a lot of the games since he went there. And I think, he might get a chance for Sheffield United eventually, but he's done well since he's gone to West Brom. But you've made good points there about he still has to find himself, and he's playing in different positions for Ireland. It's not ideal.
Yeah, I'm just watching nervously here. Ida's on the ball at the moment. He's taking on Anthony Gordon, who won a great tackle. He made a great tackle, on Ida. Ida's done well since he came on. He hasn't looked out of place whatsoever. Does look like he's added a little bit of spark for Norwich. It's hard to come on the 82nd minute of a game and try and affect it, really, isn't it? I know you're 1-0 down trying to get that goal, but for someone like him who's so young, keeper. There's a foul on Pickford there, and Ida came in to try and header it, but he put it wide. So there we go. I think there's a minute left of the game here. I think that would be it. Finish 1-0 Everton now. Foul on Pickford. He'll just kick it up the other end, and that'll be it, I think. How's things over in Villa Newcastle?
2 seconds. Oh. No, it was close. Conor Horan had another chance there. But, Grealish, there's been a couple of times there, Grealish has got the ball in a good position and just giving it away. I don't know, it could be tired, obviously, having played the few games. But he's had it and just literally gave it away to Newcastle. And it was edge of the box, the area that him and Conor Horan could be effective from. They're still pushing well, though. Newcastle have had a few chances. Andy Carroll using his height, getting a few headers away. But this is the edge of the box now. Villa are still working their
3
win.
points for Everton.
Nice one.
So the game finished 1-0. Absolutely brutal game of football to watch.
3 points is the main thing.
Yeah, I think Everton deserved it, but in the first half, Norwich looked a good side, and I think if they keep the bones of their squad for next season, they'll be right amongst it to come back up, and they'll have money and stuff like that. I just hope Adam Ida is the focal point for them next season. Obviously, with them inevitably going down. They got whopped by Southampton 3-0 the other night. Everton looked very leggy, still won the game. It'll be great. I think it'd be great to see Seamus and Adam Ida having a little chat here. Maybe swap shirts.
Do you know if we were saying about Ida making a... Oh, sorry, yeah.
Oh,
What'd you say, Jerry?
good run here.
I was just saying all over Old Trafford finished in a routine 3-0 victory for Manchester United. Martial getting man of the match. That win now, this United are maintains them in 5th place, 49 points, just 2 behind Chelsea. I think Sheffield United Champions League dream now starting to die away. 44 points. They're now down to a negative goal difference. They're 7 points behind Chelsea, 5 behind United. And just again tonight, even just emphasise the importance of John Egan for them tonight, because that's the third time this season they've now conceded 3 goals in the Premier League, and on all 3 occasions, John Egan hasn't been on the pitch.
I think John Egan, I'm not just saying it because he's Irish, he's absolutely class. Jack, I didn't mean to cut across you there. I thought Jerry was calling my name. Do you want to continue your point? Sorry about that.
Yeah, there's no problem. I was just going to say, you know, how we've been on about Ida being the head of the Norwich attack next year if they go down. Do you think, obviously, well, like it isn't guaranteed, but if Pukki was to leave, do you think another Premier League team would pick him up? What do you think? Like a team fighting for relegation would be glad to have him, or was he more of a top 10 striker?
Who's this?
Just
now?
Teemu Pukki. Just your own opinion. Do you think he'd cut it for the top teams, or is he kind of a lower league?
Are you asking me or the lads?
Just before he's got to that point, 1-0 Wolves here, finished. Pedro Neto had a good chance towards the end there, ran from behind the halfway line and just missed to make it 2-0, but ultimately full-time Wolves, the better side, 1-0.
Thanks for that, Paul.
It's full-time here as well now. 1-1.
So you're basically asking us all that question about Pukki, if he could go to a... What time? Just before we do, what time does the Liverpool game kick off? Because I know the lads are going to be jumping off for that.
8:15, so we've 20 minutes.
Okay, so we'll quickly run through. I think someone like I have the Premier League table open there beside me, so I think who could he realistically go to and make a difference at? Burnley, maybe. Watford, maybe. That's all I can see him going to. Burnley or Watford. Anyone else, I don't see him getting in the team, and he probably wants to be a first team player. If he probably moved to abroad, he'd probably go to AC Milan.
AC Milan just looking to pick up players.
I probably wouldn't even see Pukki going anywhere. I think like he was just running off kind of confidence from last season, the start of the season. Obviously getting the hat-trick early on against Newcastle, but like even looking at the night against Southampton, like he genuinely doesn't actually look that kind of way. There's one chance there, a bit of a chance, and his first touch just kind of let him down. It just narrowed it down. He panicked, and he got easily closed down. Like he's just kind of a confident kind of player. You can see that as well with Finland, because he just runs and keeps scoring goals for them. Like I don't think too many clubs would be massively interested. I think even do. I think it's still struggle. I think the Championship is his level. I think probably will stay with Norwich.
Yeah. Moving off to you, Paul.
Yeah, I think when Norwich signed him, they didn't think it would go as well as it has. I don't even think Norwich expected to get promoted for this season as well. Obviously, they didn't put much backing into it. You made a good point about Burnley there. They're always kind of looking for a goal scorer. Like bar Chris Wood, no one else is really getting that many. So I think Burnley is a good shout for him in the Premier League, but I do agree with the point about him being a Championship player as well.
Everyone's a Championship player, right? Well, I think I'm only joking, especially at Bournemouth, but I think we'll leave it there, lads. Obviously, the Liverpool game's going to kick off. We're not staying on for that. I know the few of you want to get off and watch that. You have commitments there. So, huge thanks to anyone that got involved in the comments. Huge thanks to Jerry for coming on. You can follow his social media there at Jerry B. You got Jack. You can follow his at J_Mags_7 on Instagram, and that's his Twitter there in front of me. I think I said that the right way around.
Yeah, you're spot on.
And then we've got Paul Tierney, so you can follow Paul at Tierney1723. I think it's 17232 or something on Twitter. Similar enough.
17232, yeah.
And I'm sure by now you all know who I am. And if you want to follow me, you follow me there at Paul Neal90. Right, lads, enjoy the game. Thanks for coming on. That was good. We'll have a look at maybe. I think we're doing one tomorrow with Will Dalton. I'm after getting a text there. I'm playing golf with Pico Lopez in the morning. I've never played golf in my life, so it'll be interesting. Anyway,
Brilliant.
I'll let us know how I get on anyway. And if he's around tomorrow, we'll get you on for another live stream with Will Dalton and myself. So enjoy the game. Come on, Palace.
Thanks, lads.
Sad way to sign off.
Perfect. It was a pleasure.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers, lads.